Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life's Multiverse, the show that's all about exploring life's fascinating twists and turns. I'm your host, Albert, and I'm excited to be your guide on today's journey through the world of personal growth and self development. Today's episode is a special one because we're diving into not one, not two, but three incredible books that have had a profound impact on my life. These books have sparked a fire of personal transformation, helping me shape my habits, navigate life's inevitable challenges, and unlock the incredible power of small actions. So, if you're ready and willing to change your life, improve yourself, and upgrade your skills to the next level, then keep listening. This is not gonna be just normal books recommendation or even summary. It will be an actionable list that you can take right now based on these books that I'm gonna share with you, that you can start applying into your daily life and seeing results. And the bonus will be if you can read these books actually and digest all their information to get all the wisdom you need. Because each of these books has a goldmine of wisdom and actionable insights that have reshaped the way I approach life. And my mission today is to share those insights with you. And if you ever read any self-help book, or maybe many self-help books, you will know what I'm talking about, because this category is usually full of nonsense and books that will add no value to your life, or a 200 pages book that could be done in 5 pages, which is an absolute waste of time. But lucky for you, I read a lot of them. Like maybe 100 or 2 books. I don't have the exact number, but believe me, it's a lot. So I can weed out the books that don't contain any meaningful value and give you the hidden gems. They're not actually hidden, but you got the idea. So without further ado, let's start with our first book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is simply a must read. It was a game changer for me at that time. I read it maybe 3 years ago and it changed a lot of things in my life for the better. I wish I read it 10 years ago. And I promise that if you read that book and understood every single page, you will not have any problems building new habits or becoming the person you want to be. Because it's very straightforward and it makes it look so easy. The main out-of-the-box idea that I read in this book that caused a paradigm shift in my mind was the identity-based habits. James Clear emphasizes the importance of identity in habit formation. He suggests that lasting change begins with adopting the identity of the person you want to become. And by aligning your habits with your desired identity, you are more likely to stick with them. And this was the only piece of information I needed to quit smoking. I was a smoker for 5 years in my life, from the age of 22 till the age of 27. And before quitting indefinitely, I made few attempts, but as you might guess, they failed. But later on, I was determined to quit, and I applied my knowledge that I got from this book to make that happen without real effort. I honestly quit cold turkey, just overnight. I didn't need to throw any packs, I didn't need to smash them or nothing. I just quit. And how did that happen? It was simply based on this identity concept. Because when you're trying to quit smoking, let's say for example, you are thinking in your mind that you are a smoker, but you are quitting. What James Clear proposes here is that you should shift your identity itself. Like you should picture the goal that you want to be as your current identity, which is, in my case, non-smoker. So I just believed that I'm not a smoker anymore. Like, this is my new identity. I'm not a smoker. So I don't have to make twists or bend things in order to make them fit into my life, because this is my life. I'm not a smoker. And it was as easy as that to convince my brain that I don't need to smoke anymore. Well, for sure, it takes some discipline at first, especially because smoking in particular has some physical aspects with nicotine withdrawals and so on. But the main challenge is the psychological one, because nicotine withdrawal will last like for the first 3 days. It will be too bad and it will ease on until like 3 weeks. It will be completely gone from your system, and what's left after that is just this psychological withdrawal, which is the thing that will be a lot easier when you adopt these mindsets that's suggested by the habit formation technique proposed by James Clear in order to make it happen. So yeah, next time, for example, if you want to start going to the gym consistently and try to be a fit person, you just need to believe that you are a fit person. You are an athlete. And when you adopt the athlete mindset, things will just fall into place very easily and automatically. And the change will be effortless. Because, believe it or not, too many people stick to their old identities when they're trying to change. And this is the main reason why they might fail or relapse after quitting, or quit the habits shortly after starting. But well, let's face it, this is not the only factor that will help you form new habits. It's just the base that you should start from by shifting your identity. And the other things that you need are all mentioned in the book as well. And they are the factors that you should start changing in your life in order to facilitate this new habit formation. And James Clear in this book also provides the tools for that. He suggests something called the habit formation loop, where he provides the steps that will form and will help you forming a new habit, which is, in short, cue, craving, response, reward. We're not going to go into details in that. You can read it in the book, but in short, the way to form new habits is first the cue, which means to make the habit obvious, to make the new thing that you want to do very obvious in front of you, or set reminders for that, or do not rely on just your memory and your self-discipline. Rather, let the surrounding environment remind you of this habit. The second step is craving, which is make it attractive. And for example, if we're talking about healthy food, make these food tasty so you want to crave them actually. And next is response, which is technically make it easy. So you want to make it easier by minimizing the friction between you and your habit. So for example, if you're planning to eat healthy food, try to prepare the food up front so it will be easier to grab this healthy bowl rather than ordering a burger. And finally, we have the reward. Make it satisfying. And you can do that by rewarding yourself in multiple ways after doing this healthy or the good habit that you're trying to form, which will help you reinforce your behavior. And this is all based on neuroscience and how the neural pathways in the brain work, where the neurons that fire together wire together. So when you keep repeating this behavior and you'll keep emphasizing these neural pathways in your brain, and it will be part of your identity and it will become later on automatic. So you don't need to put any effort doing that. So that's all for the habit formation loop. And you can apply the exact same for bad habits that you're trying to quit, where you need to not make it obvious, you need to not make it easy, not make it attractive, make it difficult and not satisfying. So you can punish yourself the next time you eat that burger. And congratulations, you have your new habits on check. So next New Year's resolutions will not be that difficult. And now let's move to our second book, which is also a brilliant book that complements the first one I mentioned. And that book is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And this book is basically all about consistency and how small, consistent changes will make big differences on the long term. Where the author highlights how our brains are not capable of understanding this basic math, which is the compound effect, and we don't get it intuitively because it's not that ubiquitous in our daily lives. And our brains are more used to the linear effects and linear progress, but not the compounding. And to give you a very simple example, imagine this situation. I offer you the choice. Would you like to receive $100,000 now, or I will give you 1 penny and I will double it every day for the next 31 days, which is basically a month. So which option would you choose? If you go with option 1, then you did not really get the compound effect, because this penny, which is 1 cent, $0.01, if I gave it to you and doubled it every single day, after 31 days, it will end up to be $1 million. So, did you get the idea? Another very silly example is if you fold a paper 42 times, it will reach the moon. Can you imagine that? Well, you can't try it because you cannot fold any paper more than 7 times. But if theoretically it was possible, it will have enough thickness to reach the moon. And this is the power of compounding. So the author's theory is that if we can introduce very small changes into our lives and improve every day consistently, we will achieve astronomical differences on the long run. And yes, for sure, we're not going to double our skills every day, but even if we increase our skills by a fraction every single day, we will end up in a different place by the end of the year. And unfortunately, the same exact concept applies for the worse. So when we are not taking control of our lives, when we have bad habits, and when we are making bad choices in food, in movements, in our life, in sleep, these bad choices will accumulate over time and end up with very unwanted results, like in many cases of cardiovascular disease or diabetes or other health issues that could be avoidable early on. But the main trick here is that the changes are not really visible in the short term. Imagine this penny that is doubling over days. You are getting on the second day $0.02. On the third day it's 0.04. You are not seeing any big difference on the short term. But the whole idea is that you need to trust the process. You need to trust the compounding power and keep doing the things you're doing until one day you will see huge results. And this thing is also very important in economics and personal finances as well. And following up on our last episode's topic in personal finances, the compounding effect is what actually makes investments work. Because when you're investing money and you're getting returns on your investments, these returns are actually contributing to your capital again. So the next year or on the next fiscal period, you're getting returns on your investments plus the previous returns of these investments. So this is what compounding is. And this is why many people don't get how powerful investment is, because it's boring and it takes very long time, because they are not seeing short-term results. They want to get rich quick. Where if you apply these simple rules and wait for the required amount of time, you will end up a billionaire like Warren Buffett. If you know Warren Buffett, he's the biggest investor of all time. He's the richest investor. And the simple secret to his wealth, which is over $100 billion, is time. He started investing decades ago, like maybe 60 years ago. And he is now in his 90s, and he did not become a billionaire until later in life. So this is how compounding works in finances. So don't underestimate that. And always make sure to make small improvements day by day and you will see huge results before you know it. And now you can see how the previous two books work together by habits formation and accumulating the benefits over time. And by applying these two concepts, you will end up with results that you could not imagine before. And now let's jump to our final book for today, which is a little bit different in the idea, but it's also life-changing, which is Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson. This book is definitely one of my favorites. It's written in a very intellectual way, and it's very literate and packed with information, unlike other self-help books that you feel like they are void and repetitive and redundant. This book is one of a kind, and every page of it matters. And what will you gain after reading that book is a new ways of thinking and a new mindset on how to face life challenges and how to be more resilient, how to push through tough times in life while keeping your shit together, basically. The eye-opening idea about that book, for me, was optimistic nihilism, which is kind of a philosophy type based on the original nihilism. And if you don't know what it is, in simple words, it's the belief that nothing in this world makes sense and nothing matters in both matter and value. Nothing really makes sense in the world, and it's just is. And that was the main philosophical idea of Nietzsche. And the author takes that and builds on it, because nihilism by itself is very pessimistic. You can feel that when you say nothing makes sense, nothing has meaning in life, right? But what the author emphasizes here is that you can take this idea and make it work for your benefit. Because if you believe that nothing really matters in the world and nothing has meaning, you can do whatever you want, because all the obstacles and all the things that usually get in your way and prevent you from achieving your goals, they don't make sense. And you can think of it this way. So this is why it's called optimistic nihilism, because it's optimistic that you can make use of nihilism to achieve your goals and remove any obstacles in life. And whenever things get tough and things get hard, you can remind yourself that nothing really matters. And you can sense how small we are in this universe as humans. Like when they say zoom out from Earth to outer space and see how big the universe is and how small we are, where we are really we don't make anything in the universe, and our lifespan is very short comparing to the span of the universe of millions and billions of years. And after, let's say, a couple of hundreds of years, nothing of what you've done most probably will be remembered or have any effect. So why not do the things that you want? This is the main idea. And it works. When you are having tough times, you can think that nothing really matters, and if you don't enjoy the moment, no matter what difficulties are you facing in your life, you will be only missing out on great opportunities that you could have achieved something that gave you satisfaction, which is what matters technically. Also, in the second chapter of the book, the author introduces the idea of the illusion of control, which is fascinating to me, because he says that everything you do is coming from emotion. Unlike the common conception that you need to control your life with your mind and you need to be irrational, it does not make sense, because at the end, if we don't feel like doing something, we won't do it. And this is actually not only theoretical, but it was studied on some people with brain injuries, with the emotions part of their brain. They were extremely unmotivated and they were not doing anything, even though you would think that a person without emotions, he should be super rational and he should act just like a machine and do all the things that he has to do. But it turned out it's not true. People without emotions can't do anything, basically, because simply they don't feel like it. And one more idea from the book is life is full of problems, so you need to choose your own problems. And you need to choose, like technically how the Buddhists say, you need to choose your suffering. And this is something I adapted in my life, because when I choose the things that will be challenging for me and things that are difficult, this way I will avoid being surprised by problems that I didn't choose, right? So choose your problems, embrace them, embrace the suffering in your life, and you will end up happier at the end. And this book is literally a goldmine of wisdom, so I highly encourage you to read it because it has many more extremely valuable ideas. I gave you the things that had a direct impact in my life and the things that I adapt every single day from the previous 3 books actually. And I hope that you learned something new from them as well, and you are also as motivated to read the books if you haven't read them already. And as we conclude, remember that self-improvement is a continuous journey. It's about applying these lessons and making positive changes in our lives. So go out there, pick up those books, or explore others that resonate with you. Keep learning, growing, and striving for a better version of yourself. And if you like this episode and this format, please let me know so we can do more books reviews in the future. Believe me, I'm a real bookworm, so I can't be short on that. So until the next time, see you.